So many people scour the internet looking, how do I carry my bad team? How do I improve quickly? What's the best way to do this? What's the best way to do that? But the problem is most videos don't tell you that 99% of it is you. And I think a lot more people need brutally honest advice. And that's what we're going to talk about in this episode of Shoddy's Yap Session. If you guys are new here, this is a series where I yap about a topic and you turn me on in the background while you do something else. Or if you really want to, you can watch the mid gameplay. Now, real quick, if you are taking Deadlock seriously, I have a community tier called Lock-In. And for the rest of April, you can get your first month completely free if you use code Deadlock at checkout. You get my full aim guide, all my VOD reviews, and you can get your own Deadlock VOD review. So grab it while the code lasts. Now let's get right into it. First thing, it's not your team. So many people misunderstand how much impact and how much agency you can have in one match of Deadlock. There are so many little decisions that stack up so much that have such a massive impact on, could I win, could I lose? And a lot of games go from extremely winnable to, I made one mistake and we lose. But instead of figuring out what that one mistake is or figuring out what decisions you could have made to win the game, a lot of people just say, oh, my team is bad, or oh, my team sucks, or oh, there goes Yoshi's matchmaking again. And don't get me wrong, I've met some really bad players in my time on Deadlock so far. But what can you do, right? At the end of the day, you're the only common factor in every single game you play. So you have to try and focus on what can you do, not what did he do, what did they do, etc. Now, when you're playing, there is a certain mindset you should be thinking to follow. A lot of people play games and they say, well, if I put 1,000 hours into a game, I'll improve, or if I put this amount of time, whatever. I managed to put less than 150 hours in Deadlock, and that was me being initiate. Like, I was actually bad and I was losing games in initiate, and from that point I managed to hit Ascendant 1. The thing is, I know a lot of people who've played the game for 500 hours, 1,000 hours, and they're phantom players at best. And it's not like they're phantom players and it's like, oh well, I just need to play more games, I'll rank up because it takes like 6 wins to rank up now. But it's not that. A lot of them are win-losing in phantom, and they have triple my hours, quadruple my hours. So what was the difference with me? Now, don't get me wrong, of course I have an advantage because I have really good aim, I've been coaching games for a while, I've played games my entire life, so I know how to look at a game to improve. But a lot of people, they think playtime is improvement, or playtime will equate to improvement and ranking up. But realistically, it doesn't. Most of the time, you will be playing, you'll be practicing, whatever, and you're not actually playing each day with a goal. I remember every single time I played, I had one goal in mind. I'd play with a buddy of mine sometimes. Usually I'd play with 1 or 2 friends, and I would sit there and I'd play and I'd say, okay, what are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? Whatever. So when I'd play, first thing I'd look at is, all right, builds. Seems like I'll have to build every game. Let me go find one decent build so I can left to right it every game. Once I found a left to right build that was good enough for me, I would focus on, okay, now I have to get good at laning. And each day I would do something different. So first day for me was figuring out a build for myself and figuring out a character I like. Then I would focus on laning, and I spent the entire day learning how to lane. And in about 8 days, I would say I was about an Oracle player. Around 8 days of playing the game. And that was, now don't get me wrong, 8 days was like 80 hours. I played from the second I woke up to the second I went to bed. But in about 8 days, I was around an Oracle player. And it was purely because one day was a movement day. One day was a rotations day. One day was a box route day. One day was a macro day. One day was a team fight day. And each day was something specific. A lot of people play and just try to improve at everything all at once and improve at nothing. They stay at the exact same level they started at because they're trying to do everything at one time. You need to make goals. You need to set goals and make decisions on what you want to get better at. Now, a controversial thing that I'm going to mention, which I don't understand why it's controversial because it's really honestly not that bad. Make an alt account. People will say, oh, you're going to smurf. I have 3 alt accounts in this game. I actually smurf on my main account more than I smurf on my alt accounts. You know why? My main account, the first account I ever played on in this game, because I spent so much time improving on it, if you know how the ranked works in this game, the longer you stay in a rank, the more you're stuck in the rank. And it takes a lot more wins, a lot more time to get out of it. Because I was ritualist, whatever, initiate, I had to go through every single rank, which means I already had 150 games by the time I hit Oracle or Archon, so I got stuck there. It took a lot of wins to climb, and all I was doing was stomping players. I won most of my games. I went on a 12-game win streak, a 15-game win streak, an 11-game win streak, and all that would give me is maybe 2 rank ups, right? Which was nothing, especially for a game that has like 56 ranks if you count every division, which is insane. So I ended up smurfing on my main account, stomping Oracle players, stomping Archon players, and my improvement completely stopped. For for about 2 weeks because I wasn't ranking up. I was slowly ranking up. I was only playing on my main account. So I made an alt account, and in 23 games, I was Ascendant 1. Now, people will say, oh, you made an alt account to smurf. How is that smurfing? I'm double my rank, bro. I'm in a completely different realm on my alt account than I am on my main. And now I've been able to maintain like that general rank, even though I don't play much now because I'm trying to make videos, trying to work on stuff, trying to just do other things, right? So I would recommend, if you really do start from the bottom of this game and you're trying to keep your improvement, you'll notice a point where you get good enough that games stop being difficult. You want to search for that difficulty always. You always want to be trying to improve, because you will get stuck. You'll get to a point where the games are too easy, or either you get stomped or you stomp back. So you stop feeling that level of improvement, that constant, bro, what am I doing? How do I get better? What's going on? That feeling disappears once you get stuck in a rank for too long. So I would make an alt account, which if you don't know how to have one, you have to spend $5 on a different Steam account, then invite yourself. But if you can't make an alt account, it's fine. It just takes longer to improve because you'll be stuck at ranks that you're better at for longer. But yeah, I think the alt account was one of the best things I could do, because I started playing in constantly phantom lobbies, and I got to keep improving because the phantom players were a completely different realm from Archon. So it kept me improving. Now, this also ties into another point, which is ranked anxiety. A lot of people have too much stake in their rank. They're too afraid to lose, or too afraid to derank, or too caught up in ranking up that they don't actually focus on improvement. I know a very obscene amount of players that are Ascendant that are garbage. I would say even Eternus players, garbage. A lot of players in this game are garbage because of the way the ranked works, and they don't set it up so that there is no way of tracking like you're actually good versus you're not just getting wins because you have a 51% win rate and you're ranking up. There is no real way of tracking are you actually good, or not at least implemented into a rank system. So many bad players just play 1,000 games and then they're Ascendant, and that's kind of where they stay because they got rank boosted, they got boosted to Eternus or whatever, and they're just bad. So don't care too much about your rank. Genuinely, rank in this game means next to nothing right now because the rank system is terrible. So just play, just queue, just tilt queue. And if you need an alt account to remove that anxiety, I don't care. Pay on an alt account. I would recommend, like, most of the games I improved at very quickly, almost every single one of them had an alt account that was the same or higher rank than my main, because I had no allegiance to that rank or that account. I would just get on it, play, practice, whatever. If I lose, who cares? I was watching a YouTube video anyways. You know, that's also why I make the videos I make, because these are the type of videos I would turn on while I'm playing a game. I would maybe Andrew Huberman or something. I would turn something on in the background while I would play games, and I would just queue. But a lot of people are afraid of losing, so they don't do that. Now, when you're queuing, one thing I noticed in a lot of games too is tilting and mental. I try not to use my mic. And when I use my mic, I will say the dumbest, most insane things you can think of in the hopes of either getting a reaction out of someone or a laugh or something, because I've noticed that there is almost zero benefit of ever talking anything bad about your teammates throughout a game. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. A lot of people will say, bro, you threw me, Drifter, or you're so terrible, or this or that. And the thing is, what has that done for you? Did that make him play better? Did that make him happy? Did that do anything good for us? Probably not, right? So I just keep my mouth shut. And if I do use my mic, it's something along the lines of, oh my God, you saved my life, Drifter. Let's make out, you know? It's just something to get them to laugh, something to make the mood funny, something, you know? Because a lot of the time, everyone's mental is one bad comment away from I'm sitting in spawn, GG team. The majority of players you play with have the mental of toddlers. So give them the keys to dangle with. Ooh, jingle, jingle, keys. Oh, look, you're so good. I'm so proud of you. You're the best. Oh, ego stroke. I mean, that's the best thing you can do for most of the players. So if you're not going to use your mic, that's fine. But if you are going to use it, say something positive. Say something, just glaze them. Because if you say anything else, they're going to throw your game 9 times out of 10. Just kind of how it goes. Now, another thing, fighting. I actually just did a VOD review for my lock-in tier, which once again, code Deadlock at checkout. Top link in the description. But during the VOD review I was doing, the guy I watched, he was a Rituals player, and he kept on fighting. He would fight and fight and fight and fight, and he got 6 kills, I think. 6 kills in a game where he was fighting about 60% of the time, 70% of the time. It just doesn't make any sense. A lot of people fight too much. And a lot of people that also fight, they fight and then sit there and say, yo team, where are you? Why didn't you guys follow up? Meanwhile, you're taking a fight that doesn't matter, right? You're mid lane standing out front of their walker and they're running Urn and you're going for a fight mid walker. It's like, what are we doing? We got other things to be doing. Look how much farm is on the map. Do something else. So you got to understand, a lot of the time, fighting is no benefit in this game. Absolutely zero benefit in this game. You can fight all you want, but it just doesn't do anything for you. Most fights are meaningless. And usually a lot of fights are a net negative compared to if you just farmed camps, if you just farmed lane, if you just did something macro, right? Some kind of macro is better. Now, another one is playing heroes. I think if you've listened to my other videos, you should know this as well. I think everyone should play every single hero in the game, at least a few games. The reason why is, you know, for example, if you play Vindicta, which is also the VOD review I did earlier, that's why I'm thinking about it. But if you do Vindicta, right, you would know, oh my God, she just used her 2. Her 2 is off cooldown. Everyone touch her right now. Get her now. Because as soon as you see that, you know, wow, she's out of all of her cooldowns. This is going to be the easiest kill I've ever seen in my entire life. And you wouldn't know that. You might be afraid. You might be more cautious than you need to be if you didn't already play her. Another thing is, like, for example, Bebop. A friend of mine was playing Bebop, and he learned from playing Bebop, oh my God, these people keep killing me after I hook them in and bomb them, because as soon as they do that, they realize I have nothing in my kit, so they just run me down. They just hunt me the second I hook them in instead of running away after I hook them in. And once he learned that, every time he played any other character, he would run down Bebops, and we got so many kills in lane from doing that, because the second that Bebop hooked, if he didn't have his uppercut, we were going to hunt him. So little stuff like that you learn when you play the character. Even how, like, Apollo is an all-in and then out character, or even Calico. I dump my whole kit on you. If you're not dead, I am going to be crying in a corner. Chances are. So I would recommend you play every single character at least a few times, learn how they work, and then choose 2 mains, 2 or 3. And just keep in mind what roles are in this game. There's gun carries, there's support, there's whatever. You want to think about, do you want to be a frontline? Do you want to be a support? Do you want to be a carry? And decide what that role is. And then go to my channel, subscribe right now, and then say, oh good, Shotty's going to upload a video soon about it. And he's going to tell me what each character is, what each of their roles are, all of it. So then I'm going to master the game and I'm going to become the best because I subscribe to Coach Shotty. No, but seriously, if you don't want to wait for my video on it, there's plenty of people who make videos about what each character is, if they're a frontline, if they're a carry, if they're a whatever. So just go and check that out and make sure you know what your character is and you play characters that are either similar to that. So if you play Billy, then look for someone else who's a frontline, you know? And just master 2 or 3 characters and make that all you play for at least the first few ranks. And one more thing, the real reason why a lot of players don't improve in any game isn't aim, it's not game sense, and it's not most of the things we talked about today. It's a lot of people, when they're in the moment, they can't understand what they did or what they're doing wrong or anything. And since they can't do that, they have to VOD review themselves. But nobody does it. No one looks over their own gameplay. So what they think is good, they're actually messing up. They're making mistakes. One of the number one things I see when I get in a one-on-one call with someone, which also you can get in the description, is sorry, couldn't help myself. But one of the number one things is they tell me, wow, I thought I did pretty good, but now that I'm watching this, I played terrible. What am I doing? I think I hear that almost every single one-on-one call I have ever done. Everyone says that exact same thing because a lot of people think they're better than they are because they've never looked at their own gameplay. People know what to do and what's correct and what's wrong, or I shouldn't have punched here, I shouldn't have done this, but in the moment, they don't think about it. So if they never review their gameplay, they think, oh, well, I know all this is correct, so I must be applying it in games. But most people don't want to VOD review themselves because it's boring. And I agree with you, it is pretty boring. But if you do want someone else to help you out with that, you can use the top link in the description, get your free VOD review, completely free. The first month is free, and if you want to stay after that, you can, but it's a completely free VOD review, and you'll get to see any other VOD reviews I've done in the past, and you get to watch them over. So, top link in the description, use code Deadlock at checkout, and if you enjoyed this video, check out this one to get better aim than 99% of players. I love you guys, have a good one, God bless you.